Nervous.
Right now at noon, severe weather strikes the south again. The latest action in Florida.
And that severe weather out there, part of the system that gave us activity Sunday. We have calmed down since then, staying sunny and hot once again. Take a look at that forecast coming up.
And President Biden's son Hunter agrees to a plea deal on tax and gun charges.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Tens of thousands are still without power in Oklahoma after devastating weekend storms leave behind a trail of damage. This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Topping our first 7 minutes, the largest outage response for Oklahoma power companies since the 2007 ice storm. And it's not just in Oklahoma. At least 26 tornadoes have been reported since Friday, touching down in 10 states from Colorado to Oklahoma. More severe weather spun up across the south on Monday. This funnel cloud was captured in Miramar Beach in Florida. Meanwhile, a heat wave is gripping parts of Texas and Louisiana. In Fort Worth, 911 calls are picking up as the temperature rises. There were more than 24 heat-related emergencies during the city's Juneteenth parade. The heat index hit 113 yesterday in Fort Worth. The powerful storms ripped through parts of Arkansas, and many there are still dealing with the aftermath. Ashley Godwin takes us to Russellville, where electric crews are working overtime to turn the lights back on.
For a few minutes, it was pretty scary.
In the early morning hours on Sunday, Russellville was hit with severe storms.
Got really black, really dark, really loud.
Strong winds and hail devastating areas like the road Steve Perry lives on.
When the first telephone pole come down in the street, probably within 10 seconds of that, the second one come down, and that's when I closed the blinds and went and got in the hallway.
The winds knocked down the poles just like this one behind me. Now Entergy crews are coming in to replace them.
We're in the hardest hit area. There's about a stretch of the road here that had about 10 power poles that were broken.
Entergy is having to put all new poles in before rewiring them and turning back on the power. For Russellville, some areas may not have their lights back on until Wednesday.
I don't think we've ever seen anything like this in my history here.
But the city has cooling centers and resources available in the meantime.
They'll stay open as long as needed. Hopefully, with the way these guys are working, hopefully we won't need them Wednesday.
Well, here in the 4 states, we've definitely got heat. Chris Warner joins us with the first look at the forecast.
Yeah, heat for sure across the area. It's been hot. It's going to remain that way as we go through the next several days. Summer officially kicking off tomorrow, and it's already feeling like it out there. Quick look at the MoDOT camera, 20th and Range line. We are sunny, we are clear, we are warm out there. Well, let's just be honest, it's starting to feel pretty hot already. KDOT camera 69 and East 520th Avenue also showing us that plentiful sunshine. We still have officially kicking in at 1 o'clock, so in 59 minutes, we're going to have that heat advisory in Delaware County, and it'll run through 9 o'clock this evening. And again, this is not necessarily due to overly oppressive heat. It's because of all the power outages that continue in northeast Oklahoma. So it's folks who don't have a place to cool off and those who are still outside trying to clean up from Sunday night storms. So, of course, make sure you're taking precautions, staying hydrated out there as best you can. Yesterday started at 62, so below our average. And boy, that's what's the interesting thing about summer sometimes. Made it up to 90, so above our average, so a pretty wide swath in those temperatures. The other problem we have, though, is take a look for the year. We are about 6.5 inches down on rain for the year and already 1/4 of an inch down for June. We have a lot of catching up to do across the region. Warming up, we got 86 Joplin, 85 Pittsburgh, 87 Parsons, Chanute, Neodesha, 86 Oswego, Miami, and 85 in Neosho. So here's a look at what we're looking at. We got another sunny and hot day today. These temperatures remain on the hot side heading into the weekend, and we could see a couple of stray thunderstorms this weekend as well. We'll take a look at that full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. President Biden's son Hunter plans to plead guilty to charges of breaking tax laws and a gun charge. The charges are misdemeanors related to his failure to pay taxes. A third felony gun possession charge is expected to be dismissed if Hunter Biden follows the terms of the agreement. The 53-year-old is expected to get 2 years probation. Well, a desperate search and rescue operation is underway in the North Atlantic after a mini sub disappeared on its way to the wreck of the Titanic. It's operated by the U.S.-based company OceanGate Expeditions. 5 people are on board. Roxana Sabiri is in Boston, where the U.S. Coast Guard is leading the search.
The expedition began with at most 96 hours of oxygen on board for the 5 people hoping to view the Titanic's wreckage.
It is a remote area, and it is a challenge to conduct a search in that remote area.
Now rescuers are racing against the clock to find the missing submersible.
This is not a thrill ride for tourists. It's much more.
For years, it was mainly scientists who visited the famous shipwreck, located nearly 2.5 miles under the ocean surface. But 2 years ago, the company OceanGate Expeditions began taking tourists. The price tag, around $250,000. Last summer, OceanGate hosted CBS Sunday Morning correspondent David Pogue, who joined a group trying to visit the wreckage.
My dive to the Titanic only lasted 37 feet down, and then it had a mechanical problem and had to be hoisted back onto the ship. This entire industry, this adventure travel industry, is dangerous.
Among those now believed to be missing, British billionaire and Guinness World Record holder Hamish Harding.
He always wants to go for the next thing that hasn't been done before. It will be a miracle if the crew returns alive.
But experts say there's still hope.
We still, in theory, have more than 30 hours to recover this unit if it has not flooded.
In a statement, OceanGate said its entire focus is on the people in the sub and their families. The company says it is exploring and mobilizing all options to bring them home safely. Roxana Saberi, CBS News, Boston.
In addition to Hamish Harding, CBS News has identified 2 other passengers, and those are Pakistani businessmen Shahzada Dawood and Dawood's son, Suleiman. Well, in Rome, there is a new way to see a very ancient attraction. Visitors can now take a stroll through a sacred site that is thousands of years old. The ancient square in Rome's Largo Argentina was the site of 4 temples and believed to be the spot where Julius Caesar was stabbed to death. Now, some of the stones on the site are nearly 2,000 years old. Cool. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at noon, Ukrainian troops continue their counteroffensive battle against Russia. We hear from soldiers returning from the front line. And later, we're making pickled Brussels sprouts in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. In Ukraine, the Armed Forces Commander-in-Chief says his military's counteroffensive is running into heavily fortified Russian positions. A dramatic new video shows Ukrainian troops inside Russian trenches in point-blank gun battles. Western officials say both sides are taking heavy losses. Ian Lee is in Ukraine, where he spoke to troops who've been attacking Russian forces.
These are some of the soldiers called when Ukraine needs to take ground. The 3rd Assault Brigade storms Russian trenches around Bakhmut.
What is it like clearing a trench?
Stressed, interesting. It depends on bravery and depends on training, on practicing, on experience.
This commander, call sign Darwin, leads a platoon of 30 men.
Does it feel good to be on the offensive now?
Of course, yeah. And this taste of victory, when we pushing forward, not only going back, it's tasty too.
Ukrainian forces lost Bakhmut this spring, but now it's one of the targets on their 2-week-old counteroffensive.
If we needed to retreat before, it means nothing. We need it, so we do it. And now we will go back. We will bring Bakhmut back in Ukraine.
Bakhmut is again seeing some of the fiercest fighting as Russia steers more troops to the area, according to Western officials.
How do you prepare your men to go on the offensive?
It's a difficult process, this commander, call sign Juris, tells me. First, we work out an operational plan, then we prepare our fighters mentally. Casualties in the recent fighting have been heavy on both sides. Losses are the most difficult part of the offensive, he says. They unsettle the fighters, but I tell them to keep moving forward. but they don't see their sacrifice in vain.
Do you feel like you can win?
Of course, since the start of the war, I knew that we win.
Winning by helping to lead the charge to take back Ukraine. Yesterday, Ukraine's Commander-in-Chief General Valery Zaluzhny gave an update to the counteroffensive, saying operations are going according to plan. Ian Lee, CBS News in eastern Ukraine.
Still to come on the KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
An age-old vegetable that's making a big comeback. And with it comes lots of new and trendy ways to make them. That'll have everyone talking.
But first, we are staying hot through the week. We've got some rain chances as we head into the weekend. We'll talk about that forecast when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM News at noon. So I don't have to tell you if you've been outside that it's hot. But if you haven't been outside, if you've been indoors in an air-conditioned building, you go outside for lunch or maybe to get off work, you're going to be unpleasantly surprised with the heat. And it will continue to stay hot as tomorrow is the official first day of summer. So we might as well go ahead and kick it off a little early. And that's what we're doing. Taking a live look at MoDOT camera 20th and Range Line in Joplin. Cars are moving. We've said it before. As long as those cars are moving, we're probably in pretty good shape. And we got clear skies out there. Clear skies from our camera here at the KOAM studios just north of Crestline. We are looking back toward Joplin, back toward the south and east, and don't see any clouds there. Now, our camera 7th and Range Line is showing there's one more. Three whole clouds in the sky, and that's it. Otherwise, it is clear, it is hot, and it is muggier than it was yesterday. So take a look. We're at 86, feels like 89. So again, it's not oppressively muggy, but it's getting there. Dew points up there in that sticky range at 67, humidity down to 53%. And as we head over to Pittsburgh, well, it's still hot there too. 85, feels like 86. Dew point at 65, humidity sitting at 51%, east breeze at 9. Not much wind, and even if there was, it's more like opening the door on the oven once you've made a pizza. It's just going to be more heat in your face. We've got 85 Fort Scott, 84 Nevada, Lamar, 85 Iola. Check out this pocket of 87s. Yates Center, Neodesha, Chanute, Parsons, 86 Chautauqua, Miami. It's sitting at 85 in Neosho with, it appears, Cassville, Monette, the two coolest spots we have out there, and they're at 83. As we head into the rest of the afternoon, still looking at highs, picking into the lower 90s for most of us. You saw out in southeastern Kansas, those temps a little higher. You all are more likely to get a little closer to the mid-90s today under these mostly sunny skies. And as we head into our evening, looking pretty good, still pretty toasty though, even late into the evening. Look at that, 85 at 8, 80 by 9, 74 by 11, so starting to feel a little bit better out there. So we got that warm, calm evening. And as we head into the late night tonight, looking at a low of about 68 degrees, have an east breeze at about 5 to 10. It is otherwise staying quite mild out there. And tomorrow, shaping up to be about the same way as we go hot again. Some partly to mostly cloudy skies, though, as highs creep back into the low 90s. And here's why. Here we are at 6 a.m. Wednesday. We're going to see some clouds from this activity in central Kansas, and we've been mentioning it over and over, and it keeps just coming up. It's just the way the pattern seems to be playing out. Elk and Chautauqua counties in southeast Kansas could see a stray shower or two as we head into our Wednesday afternoon. It's going to be brief, it's going to be light, but there could be a stray shower or two. Thursday, a few clouds out there again. We go into Friday afternoon, a stray shower or two is looking possible, but as we head into Saturday and Sunday, that's where we get our better chances of scattered showers and thunderstorms across the area. As you can see, they're not long-lived, but at least it's some kind of chance at rain out there. So first day of summer, low 90s across the region. Those stray showers, Elk and Chautauqua counties out west will stay in the low 90s heading into this weekend. We see our scattered thunderstorm chances Saturday and Sunday hanging on to the low, maybe mid 90s as we kick off the next work week. And then we'll see an additional round of possible thunderstorms as we head into Wednesday and Thursday of next week. So I showed you on the almanac earlier, we are down for the year in precipitation. We are down for the month. And we have got a lot of ground to make up for last year's drought, so we need more rain than what we're seeing. We just don't need the severe weather to go with it. So hopefully we can get a few thunderstorms in here with some good heavy rain.
Right, and some cooler temperatures would help too.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, stick around. We're making pickled Brussels sprouts after the break. As a kid, I would cringe at the sound of two words, Brussels sprouts. But have you ever tried them pickled? Howard shows us how to do it in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
It's amazing that not that long ago, Brussels sprout sales, whether fresh or frozen, were dismal at best. But that all changed once we figured out that we can cook these little powerhouses of nutrition in lots of different ways, rather than simply boiling them like our parents did. Today, we love them roasted, shredded in our salads, and a new way that we love them is to pickle them. To make pickled Brussels sprouts, we start by blanching some Brussels sprouts that we've trimmed. Once they're bright green and just tender, we drain them. While they drain, we combine some water, salt, and white vinegar in a saucepan. And we let that simmer until the salt dissolves. Now we remove this from the heat and add in some fresh garlic, peppercorns, mustard seed, and a bit of crushed red pepper. This gets poured over our sprouts and we'll let them sit for a bit so they can absorb all that goodness. After chilling them, they're ready to team up with anything from our favorite sandwich to any of our weeknight classics. To get the recipe for our brand new pickled Brussels sprouts, just head over to our website. I'm Howard of the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we've discovered a trendy pickled way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our 4-state market prices.
All right, we got another hot one today. Still looking to get in the low 90s, upper 60s tonight. Low 90s, a couple of stray showers, Elk, Chautauqua County for tomorrow on the first official day of summer. We'll hang out in the low 90s heading into the weekend, and then by Saturday, Sunday, looking at least a possibility of some scattered showers and thunderstorms.
What do we have coming up tonight at 5?
Well, more children are dying in pedestrian accidents, and Health Watch, a new plan on how to save young lives. Plus, 620 Day in Pittsburgh as businesses prepare for the big block party tonight. And firework sales begin today as the Pittsburgh Fire Chief talks safety. Hope you join us for those stories. A lot more, of course. It's all coming up today on KOAM News at 5.
All right, thank you, Dal. Thanks for joining us for KOAM News at Noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.